Hello. One of the things I've pondered is why the FAL, in any variant, they're all the same, just look different, but why is it used so much? Stats wise, it's brilliant. It's got very high damage, its stability is great, its accuracy is great, but it has two shortcomings. Its rate of fire, but it does compensate with that with having very, very high damage. But its biggest downfall is the magazine size. At base it's 20, and with the plus 20 rounds, that only goes to 40. So when you compare it DPS to DPS, magazine to magazine, it really actually does tend to fall short with pretty much every other assault rifle in the game. So what I've done here to sort of show is I've put the plus 10 round magazine on, so it's got 30 rounds each, comparing it to the AKM, because the AKM has a weird unique trait, and that is the fact that it overstacks damage in comparison to its rate of fire, basically meaning it actually has one hell of a DPS climb because of its rate of fire. So if we actually just remove all the points, as I've just shown, both have got a 30 round magazine. The AKM has a slightly longer reload, but it's got near enough over 10,000 more damage, and it only loses 50 in the rate of fire, with 650 on the FAL, 600 on the AKM. And just look at that DPS chart. Like, the climb on it is so much higher, and over the course of a few magazines you actually get a lot more DPS out of the AKM. However, the big problem with the AKM is it's got terrible stability and terrible accuracy. But what if we could get around that? Right, so bragging aside, I've always been curious of why the FAL is considered a top tier assault rifle, because those, when you only get a 40 round magazine, you're missing those last 10 rounds. Pretty much every other assault rifle in the game out DPSs it over the period of a magazine. And in terms of the sheer output, the AKM is like pretty much topping the scale. There's like a weird balancing act between max potential damage along with DPS and DPS rate, where FAL, FAMAS, MK16 and Carbine 7 sort of all fit in. The weird outlier here is the M4, which does kind of slot in, but only just underneath the Carbine 7. It kind of goes AKM, MK16, FAMAS, Carbine 7, M4 for like max DPS ceiling. And it's kind of weird because utilizing the build I'm about to show you with the AK, max damage per magazine taking in the probability of crits is 17,469,850, where the FAL is 14,838,800. Now obviously there's going to be a difference there in DPS ratios due to RPM, as well as the fact that the AKM has essentially 10 more magazines. But for the DPS climb, which is what most people be interested in, how quickly can it spit out that damage? For the AKM, factoring in your crit chance, it's 13.5 million. For the FAL, by the way, on the FAL build, I'm using 3-piece Providence Defense, Fox's Prayer, and Grupo. I've stuck with the same talents, using Vigilance and Obliterate, because if we use Glass Cannon on one, we've got to use Glass Cannon on the other. The only difference there would be using Providence Defense would use Perfect Glass Cannon, so it wouldn't be a fair test. But yeah, anyway, just to recap, DPS climb for the AKM is 13.5 million. For the FAL, it's 10.9 million. This essentially means that no matter what you do, as long as you're using the same talents, Obliterate versus Obliterate, Vigilance versus Vigilance, it doesn't matter what you do with this FAL and how you want to build it, the AKM with the build that I am about to show you will straight up out damage it. If you like using the FAL, go for it. What I'm about to show you is probably a very, very weird and picky build. Kind of got to get things matching quite almost perfectly, but it does work. And the build I'm actually about to show you in this plaything isn't even maxed out yet. I've still got a bit of work to go, but as near as I can tell, for assault rifles, this is potentially the highest DPS you can get for an assault rifle, which is interesting. Like, the difference between the FAL using the meta and the AKM with this build is literally about 18% in favour of the AKM. It does 18% more damage on a DPS climb. So that's not per magazine, that's not per shot for shot, that is your overall DPS with max DPS ceiling with max potential. It's stupid. Now, when I say that it's potentially the highest DPS assault rifle, I don't mean for overall build. What this build here is, with 3-piece Fenris, 2-piece Overlord, mainly for the stability and accuracy buffs that those pieces give. Possibly could do a weird workaround using DNH, because that just gives straight 20% accuracy, 20% stability, and would only use 3 pieces, so we could potentially work in more with that, which I might look into at some point. But for now, this is going to be the best I can do, and I just wanted to sort of highlight it and put it out there, although the reload speed and assault rifle damage are also really handy. Now, as you can see, I've got the stability basically maxed out, and the accuracy is certainly up there because of the overall build itself and the mods I have on the weapon. Now, if I go to a different build and equip the AKM, you can see here that the stability and the accuracy really do drop. And even with stability and accuracy stability matched and accuracy up there with the build that I am showcasing today, the weapon still does have a bit of a kick, and it does pull to the left, but it is a lot, and I do mean a lot, more manageable, and it certainly does show. Now, you can do some weird playing around with the mods to get some more crit hit damage. As you can see, we're about 112%. And we've got a little bit of way to go with the actual mods we are using, only really utilising one critical hit damage mod, and obviously we've got a bit to go on the actual backpack itself, and I believe the knees need a little bit of love on the old weapon damage, and obviously targets out of cover need some love, but it certainly works. And if you are a fan of the FAL, my basic point is give this a go, you might like it. Anyway, that just about does it for me. Have fun, good luck, and don't die. It's bad for the health.